For this project, I partnered up with Inventables to make quick work of carving a fun window frame panel to go in our bathroom mirror with the X-Carve. And I didn't want to just have a straight cut on this window pane design, so I tested out using the V bits. And these bits are great because it allows you to carve at a 60 or 90 degree. And I used the 90-degree bit to do a first carve, which allowed me to have a little chamfer edge on my entire panel. Then I swapped it out to my straight bit and cut out all of the insides. Now for this design, I decided to leave a really big open area in the middle. It's a bathroom mirror. You need to be able to see yourself to get ready in the morning. But then I left all of the fun carving and that classic window pane design around the outside with this really fun cathedral arch. Now I did have a little bit of a challenge. When I was changing my blade, I accidentally jogged the machine just a tiny bit. So my design was a little bit off, even though I tried to line my bit up as perfectly as I could, but I didn't take very good stock of how I'd lined it up the first time. So I did run another pass with the V-bit because I had lost my chamfer on one side because of the bit being a slight bit off. And then once it was all cut out, just grabbed my chisel and it really made quick work of popping the tabs in that 1/4 inch MDF. I did use a sanding sponge and a chisel to clean up any other parts of the panes of that window design before it was ready for paint. And I did have a couple spots that had to have a little bit of cleanup because of my bits being a tiny bit off. So I would say make sure you pay attention to exactly where you set your first bit. So if you accidentally jog it before you have to put in your second bit, you can make sure you line those up correctly. To paint the carved panel, I started with a spray paint that had a paint and primer in one because this MDF was just soaking up the chalked paint that I wanted to be my final paint. So I started with the paint and primer in one, gave it a good coat, and then I went back with my chalked paint and it gave me a really cool matte finish. And I used these painting pyramids to balance my little window frame panel on while I was spray painting. And that made it so I didn't have to worry about it sticking to the drop cloth below me or having any issues with that. I actually really like those. You can see I use them quite a bit. And after the first coat of paint was dry, I did give it a sanding with just a fine grit sanding sponge to clean up any grittiness, any spots that may have got missed, and then cleaned it off with a tack cloth before taking it back to giving it a final coat of spray paint. And while the paint was drying, I put together my picture frame. I made the picture frame so that the inside was the exact size of my panel, which was the exact size of a 24 by 30 bathroom mirror, so I didn't have to do any mirror cutting. Then I routed out a groove, made sure it was the depth of both the panel and the mirror combined, and attached my picture frame with some wood glue and straps. I did use these little corner braces to give me a little bit of support with this large mirror hanging on the wall. For the outer frame, I used 1x3 oak boards, and I just love the grain on it. So to finish it, I just gave it a nice, simple sealing and let the wood really shine through. Then after it was dry, it was time to put the frame in, first the panel and then the mirror, and I secured the mirror with some 2-inch mending strips and then hung it on the wall using a metal cleat. And I absolutely love the way it turned out in our new bathroom. And now I'm really eager to finish up the last few elements and call this room done. And thanks to Inventables for partnering with me on this project. It's always fun to see what other amazing things you can carve with the X-Carve. So make sure to check it out and come visit me at housefulofhandmade.com for lots of other fun DIYs for the home.